of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we have the need for an executive session at this time? Okay. We have a field trip to King for the Tri-M Honor Society to the Forum Theater on November 6th, 2024. May I have a motion? So moved. Thank you, Chris. And second?
Second.
Molly?
Molly.
Any questions or comments?
I just want to say, I'm glad this teacher felt like, let's go do something. And I know she'll take care of it later, but I'm really glad that this is happening.
Yeah, and it was very nice of you to do this. She just misunderstood is what happened, and so.
Did you need help, Julian?
Going back here.
Joanne, I emailed it to you as well.
Oh, you did when? What time?
Just right now.
Oh, perfect. Right now. There you go. It'll be easier, Joanne.
Yeah, when Joanne called me, yeah, the proper procedures weren't followed, but I couldn't see them losing the money for the tickets, so.
Yeah. Very nice of you. Glad.
I figured if we could get enough of us together to at least approve it, they wouldn't lose that.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
Good call.
let's see, going to see the Nutcracker is fun to begin with. So,
It was a good call.
so thank you all for being willing to come tonight so we can do this.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Make a difference.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, that,
No,
Let's have some pictures. We're just trying to get them on there real quick.
yeah, somewhere.
See over there, Chris?
That's right.
yep, right here.
Oh, right here.
Okay. And there's one too. Yeah.
Pretty techie stuff, right?
Yeah. Go. Can I draw on it? That'd be
You
helpful.
can, if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll try. I love it. I love the type.
Love it. And we're gonna do this here and bring it over here.
It was
Yeah.
it was
I'm sorry, to hang your way.
Yeah, just don't use a permanent marker.
We had that happen and you actually take a dry erase and you go over the permanent marker with a dry
Yeah.
erase before we go.
Yeah.
My
it's cool.
kids did that once at my husband's office. They had a whiteboard and then they had a screen that pulled down in front of it. And they had always been allowed to draw on the whiteboard and they didn't realize the screen was down until they first wrote on it. And then it was like,
Oh, God.
yeah.
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 There you
Yeah, there you go.
go.
Just go down to the second page, please, Joe.
Zoom in.
Yes, we do.
That could work.
He's squinting. Does he need glasses?
I do need glasses. I wear glasses, just not with.
Are we gonna do a presentation first or do this to?
We didn't actually prepare a presentation.
Well, I know, but I mean,
So we're gonna, yeah, so do you wanna start by making a motion and let them explain?
yep, thank you. We need to approve the following change orders for the 2021 capital project. PCO SC 020, cost to mill and pave existing parking lot by CEA pool in the amount of $26,398. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Tiana. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chris.
You guys want us to explain that change order specifically from FAS and then we'll get approval and then we'll go into the other one that's.
Yeah, so the fenced-in area that we've been using for staging, it's essentially just to come in and mill and repave that and repaint, stripe parking spaces in there. We had only contractually had a small piece of it, just to put in a new curb and sidewalk. So I think it's a good enhancement at the end of the project here to be able to get that lot paved.
It's in the back,
A
right?
brand new pool, back
Yeah.
here, brand new pool and then have like a messed up all.
Right.
We originally had it to be paved, but then we pulled it out when we were trying to cut costs and we thought we could maybe salvage it if it didn't get that damaged with all the, that being the staging area, but.
It's
If we
between
have the
the,
money, we should get it repaved.
building, the two buildings.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
garage.
Yeah, just wanted to make, yeah,
So the
that,
bus garage, the pool and the math science wing.
Yeah.
that'll look a lot nicer. Yeah. You put all this money in, you wanna kind of put it all together.
And hopefully if weather cooperates, this board meeting lined up pretty good because we should be able to get in there Monday, mill it. And then pave it Tuesday. We're still gonna keep it as kind of a lay down staging area for the pool work, but. At least the paving piece will be done because we're kind of getting up against weather where you won't be able to pave.
You won't have any other heavy equipment going into that area to further damage it after it's paved?
Nothing that would really damage it. Everything's on rubber tires, so.
And I do know the paving and the weather makes a significant difference.
Yes.
I mean, I know, but, so if something happens, you guys will take care of it later.
Correct. And the forecast looks good for Monday, Tuesday, chance of rain, but we do have some other days that we have looking so too, so. It's good.
It's more the temperature, I would think, that would affect it.
About 50 degrees surface temperature.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, PC O-GC 111 CEA Pool West Exterior Brick Facade Reconstruction. Cost to reconstruct west exterior pool wall brick facade not to exceed amount of $70,000. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Tiana. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chris.
We're bringing not to exceed amount to you because we've been working over the past week and a half, 2 weeks with the contractor to try and narrow down the pricing. We just haven't been able to get there yet. So we feel that we've gotten some revised pricing from them as late as this afternoon, but we still need to run through it. So hopefully when we settle on the price and come back to you with the final dollar amount, it's less than that 70,000. We felt comfortable bringing that to you for authorization. And that it's important because we need to order the brick. There's probably a 2-3 week lead time on it. And again, we want to try and beat the weather before it gets too bad.
Is this the wall that came about where they expected us to not fix it? Or is this a different wall? I'm trying to remember. Didn't we have?
It's part of the claim, yeah.
This is a different section.
This is a different section, okay, trying to recall, okay, so, this is coming about now, why? Like, I'm trying to.
Yeah, and I'd love, if you guys don't mind, can I walk up to the board?
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
So I'll try to describe this the best I can with the visuals we have. Yeah, absolutely. So if you could zoom into the 3D, because I think that's the most telling image. Can I move it? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so this is your entry vestibule into
Okay.
the pool building, right? This is the low roof section. You go through those glass and aluminum doors. This area of brick has already been removed. It actually wasn't in any condition where it could stay self-supported. So what had happened was the brick ties that hold the brick to the CMU behind had failed. So that existing pool building was so caustic that it actually rotted those brick ties and that the brick had essentially been freestanding for a short period of time. So when
We're glad no children got heads.
correct. And there's actually a small section here, a little bit beyond that brick, that is also going to need repair. And our structural engineer has identified that, and that's carried in a separate PCO. But what happened was with all of this brick coming down and exposing the condition that was here along this west wall area, it started to make us dig a little deeper into how that detailing really could be and how it should be. And we had originally proposed brick to run that whole facade length. We got some pricing back. It was exorbitant. Really not in our wheelhouse of what we want to spend at this point in the project. So what we did was we created this detail where the brick would continue along pretty much halfway through that elevation. And our base bit detail where the roof would come up to the underside of the curtain wall would remain. So we're rebuilding all of this section of brick back to about halfway down, which is this detail here. And then once we get beyond, we're not actually doing the brick, we're just running the membrane up to the underside of the flashing.
So by doing that, you were able to save a significant amount of money based on what the original, when you said outside of our wheelhouse, we didn't want to spend,
Yeah,
kind of doing it this way.
yeah, so, and I say that in the term of, we went to the contractors and said, hey, we'd really love to have brick along this entire elevation.
Yeah.
Originally, this was all gonna be membrane in our base bid details. He said, all right, if we can repoint and rebuild this brick back to a certain point where it's visually not a, you can't see it, then our base bid detail will still work all the way along this elevation. This just gives you a nice visual package where that brick continues along and terminates at a nice point.
Yep,
If you left it the way that it was originally, you see that black.
Yeah, you would see this
So-
band run all the way towards the
Okay.
vestibule, like almost to this point.
which is unsightly,
Yes.
especially after spending this amount of money, time and effort. Okay, so
So-
by doing this,
Sorry.
this brick facade reconstruction, you won't see any of that. You
Any of what?
the black,
The membrane.
the
You
membrane,
will see less of it.
less, okay, so.
It's not completely taken away. And see, the reason why we're bringing the NTE to you was because the original price to put brick all the way along this was pretty much double. that
Okay,
value.
good
It
to
was,
know.
it was north of $100,000 that
Okay.
they had priced it out.
All right,
So we're trying to find in a number of revisions and a number of collaborations with the district administration and with the contractors to try to get pricing in line with what we feel comfortable spending as a group. This is what we're presenting to you as a viable option.
okay,
So by building it back, we'll still see the membrane, but the transition will look more natural in terms of
Absolutely.
where it starts instead of
perfect,
you
Absolutely.
didn't finish something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
good.
And so this was an unknown
Yeah, it's
situation.
partially an unforeseen condition and partially review of the actual detail that was in the bid documents based on what's in the field. Right? So we can only make so many assumptions.
Assumptions based on when you start getting in there.
Absolutely.
The brick crumble, clearly you had to replace it, so.
Sure.
Okay,
And also, if you guys remember, there was an entire extra layer of block here on the inside face. So that's another 4.5, 5 inches that was unaccounted for in our wall section.
okay,
So again, it's just reevaluating what's out in the field and presenting, I think, a viable option that's.
So we couldn't sell that extra wall to somebody else that's building a pool?
no time.
So
I didn't know if you were serious or not.
sometimes I am.
Sometimes you can
So
sell a
the-
brick.
Yeah,
So that, what's left there, would that, in theory, be able to be added to it another time?
That's what I was
If you
gonna
really
ask.
wanted to cover over with the brick later? I mean, is it gonna be set up that if the brick is available, it can just be put in there? fairly
Absolutely,
easily?
absolutely, yeah. So this detail could continue right along March and tie in basically to the flush plane of the gym. It could definitely be added. at a later
So if
date.
a pallet of brick falls off.
if if funding becomes available, right, Joanne, we would be able to,
Absolutely,
great,
absolutely. And that's a good point. I mean, we have it terminating pretty much halfway. You could have it terminate a little bit shorter if you wanted to shorten that value a little bit, but.
I think, again, where we came to half, we all walked out and put different like perspectives and eyesight on it.
Sure.
And we looked at about halfway is where you really saw less and less of that black membrane.
Oh, good.
If you're all the way out in the parking lot, you might see it, but
Right.
you're walking into the building, like, again, that's kind of where we approach it to make it look the best.
Sure.
you guys feel comfortable after going out there, seeing it, understanding where it's gonna end?
It's much better this way.
Okay.
Than if we didn't do it at all.
Okay, good.
My preference would be to do the whole brick.
That's
And
what, that's
hope
what
we
I
can-
would like to ask.
I would like to.
What are we
come to-
costing, what are we talking about doing the whole brick now? Is it something we can afford, Zach?
I think at this point in the project, our contingency dollars are tight.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
gonna ask him what our
This is pretty much
bottom
the
line
main
is.
reason.
Okay.
And
that's
we
what
did
I
talk
know.
about, we threw it around, we could always come back to a capital outlay project. Or again, just future project, if we really don't like how this ends up, we can always add to it. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Find somebody who does tarpaulin and have them just paint it.
We talked about other options too. I mean, the art design team, they throw this one drawing, but they had a week of renderings and other options and ideas. We, you could talk more about it. We looked at metal panels and anything we could. This seemed to be the best option to really make it look like all one design.
Cause I don't know, in my mind, when you're saying a black membrane and I'm looking at it, I just picture like tar paper. And I mean, it's just looking, I'm like, you can go through the hills out here and that just
Yeah,
really
black
looks
membrane
really
is- yeah.
shabby.
Yeah, no, it is.
We have that in our neighborhood, so.
Yeah, it is a roofing membrane. It's a heavy mill, black product. It
Yeah.
will be tucked tight, the contractors are gonna be aware that it's gonna be visible and we've already spoken to them about the cleanliness of
To
that
be as
detail.
clean as possible.
Yes, yeah.
But
for-
that material doesn't look quite as tacky as tar paper.
No,
No, it's
I just kept my mind, every time I keep that, the
Well,
whole thing you're doing, I'm
I
sorry,
think
my
this
whole
roof
mind
had
kept picturing.
tar.
Well, because it's black, I mean, it does stand out from the,
Yeah.
color of the brick, so, but it.
and there is no other color option for the membrane.
Well, it's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, got
But
it.
it's not as noticeable from the front, so I mean, the front of the house is different than the side of the house or the back of the house, so it's not gonna be.
Yeah, and I wanna point out the way that the detail, Stephanie, I'm sorry. I don't wanna be in-
You're fine.
So the way that the roofing membrane terminates on the brick, it's actually a detail that carries along. So it's not like it's just isolated to this section of the building. So as that roofing membrane comes up and ties under that curtain wall detail.
Those Pictures.
All right, yeah, I'm having a hard time visualizing.
Okay,
So
we'll pass that. So it's not horrible. It really.
when you, so visually, if you do it that far back, you won't really see it, but you'll know behind there. There's a
Right.
stretch of this still that black.
So where is it gonna
It's right
stop?
there.
Right beyond the doors, so you won't really see it, but if you're standing out here, you would be able to.
Oh, so it's on.
Yeah, it's on the inside.
It's on the,
Okay,
thank
now
you.
I'm.
So do you guys want to see that, Benny and?
This is if we're looking at, you're standing in the parking lot over here.
Yeah, I
That's
just.
actually
you
not
said it,
that
I just
bad. I
couldn't-
think you guys did a good job considering what you had to work with and the dollar amount that you had to work with.
We're just trying to be conscious of all the other factors,
Yeah.
right?
So that membrane is okay, will hold up.
Structurally.
Oh, yeah.
Hold up to the
It's-
weather. and
Yeah,
not-
it's a great detail. Yeah, it's a 50-year roof membrane or 30-year roof membrane. So it's, yeah.
It's meant to withstand.
I mean, are there any other areas
It
Right.
really is, yeah.
that has
I'm like,
the original
construction, but I realize
facade
that-
left
Right.
around the pool?
Oh, for the brick ties?
Yeah.
So we had our structural engineer come out and review the building. I can double check with him, but this area in particular was where he identified most of the mortar droppings being in that shift in the brick of the pool.
Yeah, when you walk out there, you can actually see the mortar coming out.
Yeah.
of
Right.
the joints. And as Greg mentioned, we identified another 4x8 section that's up high where it's real bad. We're just gonna take the brick down and rebuild it.
So what did you say cost that?
Probably just the core.
Yeah, the
The chlorine in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, over time it seeps into that cavity. And that even though they're stainless steel brick ties or galvanized brick ties that were there, that
Reservation was.
caustic,
That whole time.
it just deteriorated.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Ran into the similar condition at the pool entrance.
Correct.
And we put
Makes
some
sense.
new brick ties in through the existing joints that because it was inside, it wasn't pulling out the mortar from the joints, but.
Right.
We were able to put brick ties back into it to help secure that.
Because I hate for us to
The block
find out
wall in
a
there.
couple years down the road that there were further areas that it was an
Right.
issue.
Right.
Inside.
Yeah.
Right. No, yeah, there's no other areas that have been identified to date that would need that repointing or refinishing or additional
So will this be
tinkers or anything
an
like that.
issue in the future? I mean, I know a lot of years down the road, but, or is there something you do now to prevent this from
It-
doing up into the brick?
Now with the vapor barriers that we've put up on the wall, it should prevent a lot of that corrosive into the brick cavity, you know?
Also, you have a state-of-the-art dehumidification unit. that's going in.
Yeah, so I was just gonna.
And I'm assuming that there's better ventilation than would have been
Right.
installed in nineteen
That's a good
sixty-eight.
question. A lot of things have
So,
changed since the first
Mass
built in
Amherst
1960.
built an entire library and all of a sudden their brick mortar was falling apart. They had to build an entire tunnel system on the campus because the library bricks were falling to the ground.
What was the reason? Was it ventilation?
Bad
Yeah.
stuff. They had bad mortar.
You guys, you guys have a warranty on your work, right?
That's
We're not
kind
doing
of the material. to brick in
Yeah.
general, every project, we're doing brick repointing.
Yeah,
We had some down with TRA, but
yeah, we
we
did.
are always
Yeah.
addressing the brick.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it's definitely a continuous maintenance cycle.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it is solid.
And brick looks a lot nicer than some of the other, I was in one of the ugliest buildings that's been done recently in Broome County. It's one of the schools, it is just, I like brick.
I do too.
What building was it?
No, they didn't.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure people.
Brian Ashley
know.
Building.
I love it. I think it looks pretty, but it is a lot of maintenance.
Yeah.
So when my husband was at RPI, they, you know, they're a big architectural school and they were building a new library. They built it and RPI is all on a hill. Right.
I went to the other
And
side of
then
the south side.
A couple years after, they discovered that the building was slowly going down the hill because they didn't take into account the weight of the books.
Wow.
And so they had to
Yeah,
go
we-
in and do all sorts of structural.
I wouldn't want to be an architect in today's day and age.
Yeah.
It's a big burden.
Gotta be a little
Yeah,
easier.
when
We fired 2 architects
Renovate.
for renovating a branch. We're not even building it, we're renovating it.
How can you
So I
not
just want to
think-
state, I never said anything and people guess, so it's.
So it looks good. Thank you for the update.
Do you have any additional questions? Anybody want
I
anything
hope there's
clarified?
leftover money. I doubt that's gonna happen, but it would be nice if we had some.
Can we take the
leftover.
millings and throw it up on the top?
So we can do anything
Donated or
extra.
something, shoot it up there.
I do
Dollar bills.
want to point out,
Yeah.
though, the detail here, so you were talking about doing it later. So I just want to clarify that basically when you would do that. Yeah, I'm gonna try.
I
So
love it.
this block is new, right? So this block would come up and the brick would be new. So that would be the scope of the work for your next project. You would basically take down the membrane that's here, that's tied in.
Okay,
You would remove that and then you drop some rebar into your existing wall. Oh no, you drop some rebar into your existing
Your
wall.
drawing tool stop. Sorry, I'm a tech teacher.
No, it's okay. You drop some rebar down to your existing wall. It didn't like it.
I don't know why it doesn't let him. Keeps moving. He has draw on there. He's doing it right.
That's all right. But essentially, this is your OTPT
Yep.
exterior wall. That's gonna remain. So it's not like we're taking any of the structural integrity out of that
Right.
wall section. Basically, they'd open up the cells in the top of the CMU. They'd drop rebar down, they'd build the CMU continuously down to that exterior, your gym volume. And then they put some insulation up, put their brick on top, and this detail that you guys will have, that'll be published as part of our documents.
That's what I was gonna say, we're gonna have these documents. so
Absolutely.
that they can.
As built, right.
And
Correct,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Well done. Thank you so much. Looks good.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Gotta level buildings.
I love it.
There's only so much we can account for.
Right, right. We appreciate.
I
the
wish we had X-ray
transparency.
vision, but
Yeah. I think overall it's gone really well considering what you had to work with. Like, we weren't sure if you were gonna find really crazy things in the TRA.
or boulders the size of trucks in the pool excavation.
one of my
That was a
favorite
acceptable
children's
tank,
books you can
Kevin.
look up is called It Could Have Been Worse.
Oh, really?
Here's an elevation too. I know I keep harboring this, but
It's a great book.
that kind of gives you a visual understanding of where we were thinking.
Yeah,
So,
it looks good.
thank you for letting us speak to it.
Thank you.
It could have been worse.
Thank you. Yeah. It could have been worse. He had a terrible day, but it really could have been a lot
Yeah,
worse.
should have been. That's what I always say.
So are there any other questions?
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Keep up the great work. You guys are almost to the finish line. Good stuff. We'll miss you.
In 2 weeks.
We'll miss you when you're done.
Are we inviting them to our
Pool
dinner?
party?
Sure.
They should come to our dinner.
We're gonna do a tour next time, right, of the TRA third floor, because they haven't seen it.
Ooh, I can't
Maybe
wait to
they
see
can help
that.
sponsor.
Take the elevator up.
You guys are in pretty street.
I was thinking that too. I was like, oh.
Yes.
Nice. That's gonna be
That'll make it
awesome.
easier for me to make it.
With a capital A. Woo, woo. Yeah, get it.
Yeah.
Love it. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Drive safe. Have a good night. Thank you. That's exciting stuff.
We have to vote on this.
Yep, all those in
Yes.
favor?
Ah,
Any opposed? Any abstain?
They did a good job. I think they did their best trying to make it.
Yes.
Oh, he needs his.
Right there.
Okay, because I wouldn't have seen that.
Where are your glasses?
Should
Have
you
a
be
good night.
driving?
All the glasses for driving.
Um, I'm assuming that
We do.
for our next, for our next meeting, we'll have a look at like where our contingency budget.
Yeah, they'll bring the monthly update.
We,
What time should we be here?
Well,
Typically,
I think-
it'll be an hour, so
If
the
you can
meeting
get
would have to
there.
be at like, the tour would start at 5 at the TRA.
for our next meeting.
Yeah, meet outside for the tour, if you want the tour. of the
Okay,
TRA.
okay, yeah, got it.
Meet at 5 o'clock, and again, you kind of knock that out, and come here for all the meetings. So
Maybe we can even sneak a peek in the pool.
I do believe that we have a need of an executive session, is that correct? We are going to be discussing,
A legal issue.
okay, so that'll be at 6:25. May I have a motion. So. And a second,
Second,
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
are we online right now?
No,
Okay. It,
Oh.
it makes me nervous that we're.
Yeah.
no, we won't,
Yeah,
we're
no,
gonna
it-
be closing.